Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Screenplay Room. My name is Paul Gonzalez, and I will be your screenwriter for the evening. I wanted to start off kind of talking a little bit about some of the projects I have going and where they're at. I kind of got back into screenwriting because of Encino Man, of all things.
No, using the juice. Where's the juice?
Me and my brother over at Staunch TV and a buddy of ours decided to get together to write Encino Man 2. It was an idea that he had going on his podcast where they would talk about sequels that will probably never get made. I believe my brother was on that podcast, and then they were pitching ideas and they came up with something cool, and they knew that I was a screenwriter. The problem was I hadn't really written a movie at that point must have been 7 years. What had happened is about 15 years ago, I wrote, directed, and edited and produced a feature film called Scum, which you can find on this one of these. It'll pop up. So I wrote that, the Chainsaw Trophy that I have right here. Aww. I won for that movie, and it just kind of, it was my first feature and we made it for $3,400. So when it came time to do my follow-up, that took a few years because I kind of, sure, I love horror, but I kind of wanted to see what else I could do. So I wrote a romantic dramedy and then went to go and film it. I had some money, so we did that, and it was the most horrible experience of my life. Some of it was my fault. I'm not passing the blame. Some of it was my fault. But it was such a horrible experience that I kind of just stepped away from writing and filmmaking altogether. Ended up getting married and having children and focusing on that. Whenever they approached me about writing Encino Man 2, I thought about it. I didn't know if I had it in me anymore. I think it was during the summer, so I had all three of my children at home. My wife was at home, so it was going to be very difficult to sit down and find time by myself to write. But I decided to try it. And what I found out was that I could actually write and tend to the children while my wife was busy. So I would sit on our kitchen counter right away, and then they'd be like, Dad, Dad, Dad. And then I could stop, run, go take care of whatever they needed, and then come back without losing my momentum. So I wrote Encino Man 2. I got contacted by a buddy of mine who's my writing partner on a few of these. He is an actor in LA, and he wanted to know, hey, do you want to work on some stuff together? I may have some connections so we can send the writing to someone and possibly get it sold. So I said, sure. I wrote Encino Man 2.
No, using the juice.
And then I was thinking, what could I write next? I had this air hockey movie in my head for years. That was supposed to be my second feature, but I couldn't crack it. So then during this time, I was really inspired. I'd written a script in years, and here I am like, dude, I can still do this. So I sat down and I wrote Thunderstruck, which is about air hockey. And I guess I can't really say much, but it's about air hockey, and it's really fun. I guess it's a sports comedy pretty much, and I was so glad to finally get that out there. So we started sending out to get coverage. Thunderstruck is a little bit of a bigger budget than someone might want from a first-time writer. So we decided to go and write something a lot smaller with minimal characters, minimal locations, and it was called Hospice. I came up with the name Hospice walking across my living room floor, and I stopped in the middle of my living room and just said Hospice. Thought about it for a few weeks, tried to figure out what exactly hospice would be, and then I sat down and wrote it in 4 days. The first draft, 4 days. So then we started going back and forth, and we thought it was a really great idea. So we went and polished it up, sent it out to get coverage. Right after that, I wanted to do something a little loose because hospice is a little intense. So once again, I was just sitting around And I was like, what's the stupidest movie that you could write? And I was like, oh, an MMA fighter who fights ghosts, and we'll call it Ghost Fighter. It ended up being a great idea, and I sat down to write it again in 4 days for the first draft. It is a bigger movie, but in my mind, I'll show you the poster. In my mind, it's one of those Frank Grillo Shudder / Netflix movies that you would see, because there is horror elements, there's ghosts, and then I wrote it specifically for Frank Grillo because I love the guy.
Frank!
And as you can see in the poster, I made the poster look like him. So we sent that out. That one we actually, that's when we started sending stuff to film festivals, because we got Ghost Fighter pretty tight. Hospice, we were still getting a lot of notes on, so we were rewriting that a lot. But Ghost Fighter was pretty tight, and we sent it out to a couple of film festivals. I think we were nominated for some awards. It wasn't really anything big. I knew this wasn't going to be our big movie. I just hadn't submitted things to film festivals in a long time, so I decided to go and explore that world again. And so whenever Hospice was ready, Hospice we sent everywhere. Once we got it tight enough, we sent it to a lot of places. And last year, in 2024, we won the San Antonio Film Festival Best Screenplay Award. So that was great. That was the first major award that we won. We had won a smaller award for our twist ending a few months before at the Austin Spotlight Film Festival. And that was cool too, because that, well, actually all this, we'll cover the whole film festival stuff in another video, because film festivals can be a lot of fun. Even if you're submitting a screenplay. We're waiting to hear back from the Austin Horror Film Festival and the Austin Film Festival to see if we get in, if we get nominated, or if we win. We're just kind of waiting. We won't know anything for, I guess, a couple of months. But I'm sure once we hear back, I'll make a video and I'll talk all about it. Oh, I forgot to mention, in 2024, I also graduated with my bachelor's degree in graphic design. So when you see like all these posters around and stuff, these are all things that I've made. And I don't know how I would be a screenwriter without being a graphic artist. Being a screenwriter is expensive enough. Entering contests, getting coverage, and all this stuff without having to pay a graphic artist to design all this stuff on top. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I'm saying I can get it done. And it's cheap because I'm doing it myself. I graduated last year and I celebrated and I had a great time, and then I got a great idea, which happens from time to time. A killer mascot horror movie. We'll call it Wildcats. Great. There's a mascot dressed as a wildcat killing high school students. Thought about it for about 2 weeks. Sat down, wrote the first draft, and I think this one was 3 days. So I thought about it for a little bit. I thought about the characters, the storyline, all this stuff. We didn't really just need some dude who decides he's going to put on a mascot and go kill people. So I added some lore. I added a lot of interesting things here and there, and then I didn't know what to do with it because this one just seemed a little weird. Like we couldn't really send it out in the market or anything without, I don't know. I just felt like I couldn't send it out. It wasn't going to win awards like Hospice or even Ghost Fighter. It was just different. It was a low budget horror movie that I decided I wanted to make myself. Oh, and I kind of forgot. This is why you need to be organized, and I am not organized. I wrote a TV pilot for this show, this 1 hour television show called Trophy Wife. It has a lot of cool elements that go through it. It deals with a killer. It deals with time travel. It deals with trophies. And yeah, I got this idea from one of my ex-coworkers. I walked into her cubicle and we were talking, and she was saying how she was cleaning out her garage, and she came across this shelf full of trophies. And then that's it. That just her saying that set me off, and I created this TV show. The pilot is currently out getting coverage and some notes, and then you'll see in you'll see in the videos where I'm covering pitch websites where I'll talk about Trophy Wife and where I'm actually sending it to get things done with it. Started writing this action movie called Catch These Fists. I had heard the Wet Leg song, Catch These Fists, and I just thought it was a great song and a cool idea. So I was like, you know what? Let me make this let me make this a female-led action movie in the vein of John Wick.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
And Nobody. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm currently writing that movie, and I hope I didn't forget any other things that I've written. Right now, I think hospice is the only thing we have out there working. You'll see, I'm going to post a video talking about these pitch sites and all these things and why they're really great to have around and to use quite often. So right now I have a producer, a director, and a streamer interested in hospice. Haven't heard anything yet. There's been no movement. It's kind of been like this for a while. 2 of the 3 I submitted to in November of last year, and they just became interested earlier this year. So these things take time, but as I'll cover in the video, it's really cool whenever you can go submit to these sites and kind of send them out there while you're working on other stuff. So it's just kind of like working for you, and it's getting out there, it's getting seen. So thank you guys for sticking around. If you have any questions, comments, or complaints, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I'll see y'all next time.